Hello. Welcome to a horror console, your weekly podcast where we talk about spooks, frights, scares, and stuff that terrorized us during the week. My name is, I don't have a scary name for this week, and with me is my horrifying co-host and undead wife, Karradyne. Is that good? Does that work? No. Hey,
it's really bad.
We have somebody very special with us today coming back to the show. Yes, I love this dude, and he's back. We have Burgerchamp. Burgerchamp, how are you doing today?
Good. Have you done Karradyne? Karradyne?
God damn it.
I can't.
Great. Karradyne.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Wow.
That works.
That's better than Karradyne.
That's only because you fucking misspelled it earlier without the N.
Yeah, it never would have come up.
I'm glad I caught it because it was for the freaking episode for tomorrow. Karradyne, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? Oh. I can't.
Hey, if this is your first time or 116th time coming into the show, welcome. We're glad you're joining us for an episode of A Novel Console. We hope you stick around and have some laughs and maybe find some new things to enjoy. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our socials.
Whatever, just go with it.
Which is basically at A Novel Console on every platform, or you can email us directly at anovelconsole@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to support us, you could do it at patreon.com/novelconsole. And you have something to say?
Yes, please tell your friends to check out the show because every listen and review helps. You can leave us a review on most platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all of them, basically. Reviews help us be more discoverable. We also have our own Novel Console Discord. If you want to join, send us an email or check out our Twitter and look for the pinned tweet.
Yes. So, Champ, how have you been? What have you been up to? What's going on in the
reading
world
more than me?
I have been reading quite a bit. There was a lull there towards the end of the summer, but I think I just hit 191 today.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Jesus, are there that many books for you to be able to do that many a year?
Almost.
Insane.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
have you read Fairy Tale yet, Stephen King?
No, I haven't. I'm waiting to see if it comes to Libby before I spend a credit on it. And then, Audible had a full site sale and I bought about 35 books. So
very nice.
I'm not buying anything superfluous for a while. I've got so much to catch up on from that. But yeah, reading, working, not much else.
Such as
kids.
Life.
Yeah, don't know about that last part.
I know.
But
games.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, which you gifted me a game a few days ago. Like I saw your message come. I was like, check your Xbox. I'm like, okay. And I saw a notification. Burgerchamp has gifted you this game. I was like, what?
He was also drunk.
Yes, I was also very drunk.
The Xbox store makes it super easy to gift games. You just click on give this as a gift. Pick the person you want to send it to, and that's it. You're done.
That's nice.
That's a bad thing to know. I'm going to start gifting everybody copies of Cyberpunk.
No.
Everybody
wait for it to go on sale for like $7 and just
there you go.
So I don't think it's ever going to go back down to past $20 because of the fucking anime.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that gave it a boost.
Yeah, like there's constantly more than 1 million players online playing it the entire day for like 3 weeks already. And the game went from being on sale for like $10. Now you can find it new or used, and it's gonna be 25 or up. So it's a little bit upsetting, but I'm glad that the game's getting beloved. It deserves, because it's so good. It is fantastic.
That's kind of what happened with No Man's Sky. Like after it came out, it dropped to like $10. You could get it anywhere, and then they updated it, and people were like, oh shit, this game's actually really huge and fun. And it shot back up.
It's not trash.
Has that ever happened with any sort of book?
I mean, books like go on clearance and stuff, but it's definitely not to the level that the video game industry takes it, I don't feel like.
With self-publishing these days, like back in the day, it would happen. Like Great Gatsby was a flop when it came out. Like no one bought it, and then
which is crazy to me.
Well, because it sucks.
It's awful. It's one of the worst books I've ever read in my life.
But you know, another one of his books blew up, and then that kind of blew up too. You know, I guess in books it's more common when somebody writes a book and no one knows about it, and then they die, and then it becomes like huge. You know,
it's like when Michael Jackson died, nobody wanted to listen to him because of the rape allegations, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Michael Jackson was a god. Let's buy all of his albums and have like the collection for like $900."
To each his own.
So, what books and games have been getting your attention lately? What is something that has stuck with you since the last time we talked?
I just finished a book today that was recommended to me. It's only the first volume in a comic series called Scalped. And it's about a Native American reservation. There was an incident with the FBI a couple decades ago where a couple of FBI agents got shot, and one of the other agents swore he would get revenge on the natives involved. And flash forward several decades, and one of the guys involved in the incident is basically running the reservation. He's like a crime lord kind of, and he's opening a casino. And a guy that got away from the reservation comes back to the reservation and gets hired to be his sheriff, his right-hand man. But what he doesn't know is that guy's an undercover FBI agent, and it is phenomenal. Like one of the best written comics I've read in a really, really long time. And the person that recommended it to me said that in the run, like he cried several times. There were like issues that like changed him. And I haven't gotten to those issues yet, but it is absolutely phenomenal. Every character is just really well fleshed, you know, a character, like a real person. And they've started doing, in the last couple issues of the first volume that I read, they started taking each issue covered a character specifically, and you got to know what makes them tick and what they want and where they came from and why they're involved in it. It's really, really, really good.
So as Brian K. Vaughan does the introduction?
Yeah, he did the introduction to the first volume.
Nice.
Yeah. It's, I think, Jason Aaron, or it's something Aaron.
Jason Aaron and PM Guerra. I need glasses. RM Guerra.
Yeah. Jason Aaron is the writer. He did another book that was also recommended to me called Southern Bastards, but I haven't read that yet. But if it's as good as Scalped, like Scalped is just really fantastic. I've been reading that. I've been diving deep into Usagi Yojimbo, the Rabbit Samurai. They've got all the volumes of that on Hoopla, so I've been reading that.
Okay, so I really want to start like reading comics again. It used to be really easy to read comics when Pirate Bay was a thing. I could get like full runs.
It was easy to read anything.
It was super easy. Like I could get like, so there was a Teen Titans run. I think it was 2005, 2006. That was great. It was phenomenal. But they did small arcs, and each arc would either begin or end with something insane that would happen, and they wouldn't touch it ever again because they wanted you to continue reading it in a separate series. So let's say Red Hood breaks into the Titans Tower, beats the shit out of Robin, continue reading on this series, but the Titans run just kept going after that. And downloading all of that, downloading that one Titans file from Pirate Bay came with all those other issues so that you could finish those storylines and not miss anything and not have to like randomly download shit.
I see.
So it was really good because it was also about the time when Superboy went crazy and started thinking he was Lex Luthor and almost killed all the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
So back then it was super easy to read comics. Now, not so much because I don't have anywhere to download them and read them unless I pay a monthly fee like with
Hello.
Marvel Unlimited.
Hoopla.
That's where I've been getting a
Library
lot of them.
card.
Yeah.
Really?
Hoopla has
Yeah.
a ton of stuff. It doesn't have everything,
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm
but-
reading. I'm rereading Invincible right now. They've got the full run of that. The Boys. I'm rereading
That's-
a bunch of stuff, and they've got the full runs of all of that. Scalped
Okay.
full run is on there. Usagi Yojimbo, Savage Dragon. A lot of these, older comics. They do have some newer comics too. And
Yeah,
and I've been buying stuff that I know that I like too, like anything with Ed Brubaker's name on it. I just got the sequel to Basket Full of Heads, Refrigerator Full of Heads in the other day. But I haven't read it yet. And I got a notification from Amazon that said, your product has shipped. Refrigerator Full of Heads.
I can't.
That's great.
Oh.
See, one of my favorite things to do when I go to Barnes and Noble Karradyne is that I have an app called Manga Reader. It's only on Android, and it's connected to Manga Go, Kiss Manga, Mangaka Kalat, pretty much every website that has manga. It's connected to it, so you just look up the manga that you want to read, and you can link it straight to that website so that you download the whole thing onto your phone and read it. So we go to Barnes and Noble, and I'm like just looking at the manga. Oh, this looks interesting. Let me add it, and let me add it. So I have, so I have
Scans all of the hentai.
Exactly, especially if it's like wrapped in plastic. Those are the
Oh
first
my
ones that I go
God.
to.
Anything with tentacles.
See, sometimes the tentacles don't appear, and sometimes they blur them. But yeah, more or less, you get the idea.
And sometimes the tentacles appear and then immediately disappear.
Exactly. So I want the same thing, but for comic books, that I can just stand at the comic book aisle. Oh, this looks interesting. Let me fucking add it so I can read it later. But
I mean, it's hard. It's starting to get hard to get comics at like not a specialty shop, like at Barnes and Noble, because they're only starting to carry like your top 25 stuff, and then your in print stuff. Like all that Vertigo stuff is starting to become not in print anymore because Vertigo is not a label anymore. But like that stuff's fantastic. Like all of Vaughn's old stuff is Vertigo. Like lots of Vertigo had so many good comics, and now that's DC consolidated all of that, and it's gone now. And a lot of that stuff is out of print or under another label.
So
Whoopla!
okay, so if
You got to go get your own fucking library card because they only allow you 10 borrows a month. You are not using up all 10 of my borrows.
Yeah, and I'm right on the line between two counties, so I have a library card in both counties. So I double it up.
20 borrows a month. Damn. But it's free. You act like it's some inconvenience to get a library card. It's literally free.
Oh, library's kind of smelly.
I think you can just get one online though, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Marla, she doesn't like people. I'm pretty sure she did the whole thing online and they mailed it to her. She's never stepped foot in a fucking library. She gets all the books mailed to her door and she drops them in the overnight drop box.
See, also the thing with the library thing is that they've run out of digital copies of.
Not on Hoopla.
Well, see, Hoopla is different though.
Yes.
Hoopla doesn't pay for licenses.
Yes.
Hoopla, the reason you're limited to 10 a month is because it's always instant checkout. So with something like Libby or Overdrive, which is going away and just becoming Libby now.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can only do 6 checkouts at a time because the library only has a certain number of digital copies.
Yes.
With Hoopla, it's done by the publisher and not by the library itself.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I don't get. Do they actually send you the whole
It really
fucking
drives
file?
him nuts.
Do they send you the whole
Libby's like, oh, we
file?
only have 2 copies. And he's like, but digital.
It's digital. Your dad was going crazy over it too.
I know. Just don't think about it. Just stop thinking about it and just let it be.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like PlayStation Plus or something. Like the library has to pay for a certain number of licenses, I guess. Like,
okay, so if it's licenses, then I kind of get it.
So they only have 2 licenses rather than 2 digital copies of Angelica Frankenstein.
but it just sucks when you go in and you're like, oh, I'm gonna put this book on hold, and it's like wait time, several
9
months.
weeks.
Jesus.
You're like, your number 144 on 2 copies, and you're like,
Yes.
great.
And then it never fails that my longest wait time on Libby, when I'm finally eligible to check it out, my library fines are too high and they won't let me check it out.
Oh, my problem is that because our library basically did away with fines unless like it's long enough that you have to buy the book.
Right.
But my problem is I'll get no books for like 2 months, and then everything will come in at one time.
At once.
And I have 11 books, and I'm like, I got 21 days to read these 11 books. Oh, and look, this one's 38 hours, like.
Better amp up that speed. Oh, bless it.
I did yesterday at work, I read a whole book that you just read, Karen. I read
Which one? Did you like it?
I really enjoyed it.
It was cute. I felt like their romance was a little forced at first, but
well, I think that's intentional. I think it's intentional because it's supposed to be kind of meta, Yeah,
it was cute.
I liked the audio version because it's an audiobook reader reading about audiobook people.
Exactly. I loved that I went into that one blind and had no idea that was what it was about.
I thought it was going to be a book about her reading audiobook. I didn't know it was a novel until they said a novel at the beginning. I thought it was because I know who Julia Whalen is, but I thought it was a book about her life. But it's not.
I see. Yeah, I think she even has a disclaimer at the end saying, I know everybody thinks that this is autobiographical, but it's not.
And I'm also not Scott's sister.
What?
Scott Whalen.
Oh. Didn't we talk about that when I talked about the book?
Stone Temple Pilots.
I don't know.
May he rest in peace.
Woo. He's dead?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Heroin overdose.
Oops, sorry. May he rest in peace.
Oh, he was so good. He was so good. So, Champ, we covered books, games. Anything stand out to you recently?
I'm over halfway through the new Plague Tale game. Really enjoying it. There are
Game Pass,
things.
Right?
What is that?
It's on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. There are things that it has shored up or consolidated that make the game flow a lot better. But there are also things that they've added, like there's more combat focus in some points of this. And not that combat isn't good. It can get frustrating because it is kind of a puzzle game. So even combat encounters are more like order of operations. Got to figure out who to take out first. It's kind of a stealth puzzler at heart. A lot of it is sneaking around, putting out lights and watching rats consume people. But it's really enjoyable. The characters are great. The writing's great. What did I play right before that I enjoyed? Something not that memorable, I guess.
I saw a video on TikTok a few days ago about Plague Tale, and it was a scene. It was a set piece where the girl is running away from a flood of rats, and they're like coming from behind her, from the sides, from the front, and it's just like a really good chase scene.
Oh, there's a lot of that. They do a lot of Lion King style chase scenes, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
but it's not as bad as the Lion King game. It's really good, and they've really amped up the motivations in this one. So far I'm enjoying it more than the first one. Which I really enjoyed. I did on my co-op night play Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which I did not enjoy. There's a lot about that I did not enjoy.
He's been complaining about this game for weeks on Discord.
Oh gosh,
for weeks.
Tiny
it's like
Tina.
Every Thursday morning he just lets it out. It's like, I fucking hate Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
My gosh.
It's fun to play with the people I'm playing with, and actually the last couple boss battles were fun because we were kind of under level because we were like, I don't want to do any side quests. Don't want to elongate this any further. But it became one of those things. One of my co-op partners equated it to like a raid in like a MMO where we're shouting out like, all right, you go over here and flank, like, and we're kind of having our own individual roles. And that was kind of fun, like coordinating and fighting a boss that's way higher level than us. I also rented that Turtles collection, and I played the first 2 Game Boy games on it, and they are hot garbage.
Oh,
They're
bless it.
terrible. The
See,
first one is
Mhm.
like a Tiger LED game, basically. Like the same 4 enemies come from the same spot on the screen. Jump over the bosses and hit them behind. Jump over them again and hit them from behind. I'm sure that if I was 7 and I had a Game Boy and that was one of my games, then yeah.
I
But
see. All right. So I actually, there's one of them that I actually rented a lot when I was a kid. I think it might be the third one, the one where you start out with Michelangelo.
yeah, so I
Kind of
started
a-
playing that one, and it's fun, but
Kind
it's
of a
hard
Metroidvania.
as shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really hard.
It has a rewind feature, right?
Yeah, the collection does have a rewind feature, but the way they did the rewind feature is weird, because if you rewind, you can only rewind back to like the beginning of the area that you are in that game anyway. Kind of like the newer Castlevania collection. If you die, you can't rewind. Like you have to rewind before you die, that kind of thing. In this, you can die and rewind, but it only rewinds about 20 seconds.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I use the rewind feature a lot in Aria of Sorrow just for the soul harvesting. But
I didn't think about that.
later. Yes, I saw online. Oh, you can do this. I'm like, I'm doing that because I am not spending a lot of time with this game.
And then I did find a cool little game on Game Pass called Despot's Game.
Yes, I heard you talking about that one.
Weird dungeon crawler where you don't actually control your party. You just give them weapons, give them resources. There's a skill tree where you can unlock skills for them. There's different abilities that you can unlock from doing side quests within the dungeon. It's roguelike, so it's random every time you do it, like what's going to be on what floor and whatnot. And you're basically trying to get to this computer named Despot and destroy him. You have food to think about. If you don't have enough food, you can call up more soldiers, like more humans, and just throw them into a grinder and use them as the food if you need to. But it's about managing your troops. You get bonuses for doing multiples of the same type, but in different classes. So like 4 different ranged. So you might have an archer and a mage that throws fireballs and a caster that summons something that is ranged. You might have 4 sword people, but they're all different classes. And so you just walk into a room and you hit a button and they fight for you. And they might get killed and they might not, and then you can get certain weapons that will resurrect everybody if you want, or you can get heal things and things like that. So you don't actively control your party. You just let them wander room to room and hope that they survive.
Bless it.
That is, man. I got to try. I'm gonna be honest. I looked at it and I was like, I don't like how it looks. But
yeah, they look like
just
stick
hearing
men.
about,
They look like flesh-colored stick
like
men.
fun.
Yeah, it's not graphically powerful at all. The writing's really funny, really tongue-in-cheek, makes fun of the roguelike genre in general. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I beat it on easy, but I've gotten to the last boss on the normal level a couple of times. It's tough. It's real tough.
Yeah, there's no shame in playing on easy. That's lately what I feel like.
I've learned
only
that.
had time for. So let's have fun. It's fun. I'm fine
Yeah,
with it.
you gotta enjoy it. So
Yeah.
Or try
if you play
to.
Resident Evil 3 remake and you only use the infinite rocket launcher, then there's nothing wrong with that.
It's realistic. It's how you would do it in real life.
Exactly. You'll never run out of bullets because bullets are infinite, especially if you're wearing a bandana. flies over Karradyne's head
Yep.
so hard.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a clue. That's fine.
All right. So I think we're ready to go into book talk. So this is book talk.
This week's book is Gyo by Junji Ito. The deluxe edition that I read was published on April 21st of 2015 by Viz Media. Oh, I have so many regrets. Last night I started reading this sucker and I said to Chris, I was like, this is nothing. It's so boring. It's not even gory. What the hell? Oh,
Then the fish show up.
did I know? Little did I know. Oh boy.
A lot of tubes and a lot of butts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TMI. But every time I have expelled gases today, I'm like, it's the fish. It's just the fish. Oh man, I was not prepared for the nastiness of this because when you told me it was about a fish, I thought it was like some rogue piranha or something. It's fucking weird.
See, I also feel like I was lied to
Really?
because I wanted to read it because I had seen like that animation that's online about it where the shark breaks into the house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I also commented it to Champ. I'm like, I'm hoping it's gory. And he says it's really gory. And I'm like,
Not the way
okay,
you thought.
so it's going to be super gory. The fish are going to fuck shit up. Like, fish are going to eat the humans. They're going to take revenge. Nope.
No,
Not that
Not
way.
There's a lot of
quite.
deformity gore.
Yeah,
And,
there is.
Oh, yeah.
So much farting.
I'd like to see someone take the ball and run with it and show like, because they talk about how it happened everywhere in the world by the and
Yeah.
like what happened elsewhere where there are like different fish, like what would happen in the Amazon where there are piranhas and they come rolling onto the land and
Lord.
just consuming everything and everyone.
Right.
I would love that. We should start a campaign on Twitter and get Ito to write it.
Like
We
just
need
in
an
Alaska,
Amazonian
like
story.
a Kodiak bear fighting a whole bunch of like
Oh my God.
salmon that are jumping out of the river with the legs on them.
That would be fantastic.
I can't.
That would be so good to watch.
And then the fish die, and then the Kodiak bear gets in one of them.
Yep.
And then the Kodiak bear gets into like Skagway, a little settlement, and just eats everyone. Just have a Norwegian cruise line ship just dock as the bear is eating everybody. And then the bear gets in the cruise ship and goes to America.
Do
and
a
eats
comic
everybody in
about
Seattle.
a cruise ship and all the people on the cruise ship when the fish start climbing up the side of that boat.
No. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh,
Oh.
there is so much potential in this. Okay, I am back on board. This book is incredible.
Can you imagine doing one about like Hollywood, and it's just a bunch of celebrities stuck in these little machines?
I can't.
It's like Kanye. And
Oh yeah. Let's just get him and all the
Harvey Weinstein,
Kardashians.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Alex Jones.
he
his
does have a lot
frogs-
of gas.
Yep.
Turn the freaking fish gay.
Yep. His frogs
Oh,
really
Lord.
did turn gay.
I can't.
Fuck Alex Jones.
Yeah, I this definitely like took a turn that I never would have expected ever. Especially seeing so many butt cracks with tubes coming out of them. Like, I didn't
I'm-
need that on my Sunday morning.
I've read a lot of Ito, and I'm beginning to suspect that he's not nice to the girlfriends and anything he writes. Really,
Yeah, he was
ever.
That-
The one in this book doesn't do anything wrong, and she gets fucked at every turn.
The only
Yep.
thing she does is not like the smell. That's all. It just really bothered her.
Mhm.
And damn.
Also, I'm not defending him, but I feel like she has a mom nose because my mom would go walk into the
Oh my
house and be like, "This
God.
house stinks," and it was spotless because she had just cleaned this in the morning. So could be that she has mom nose, but the main character did really shit on her constantly. Like he goes off on her like at the beginning of the book for
Over
no
nothing.
fucking reason.
Over nothing.
You're being ridiculous. Yeah. It was What? Why are you looking at me like
I don't
that?
know. It's like you're going somewhere, but you're not.
Oh, I'm just lost in thought, thinking about the butts with tubes coming out of them. It was a lot. It was
Maybe
too much.
Maybe we should explain what this is about so that
Yes, we should.
the
Okay,
people aren't
so-
really confused. They think this
so-
is some sort of butt tube book.
Now these
This is
characters
machines
are the
powered by
same
fart.
characters from Uzumaki, right? No, they're not. Are they in?
No.
They're in something else, right?
No, the names sound kind of the same, but they're not.
Oh,
Because the girl in Uzumaki was Kirie and this one was Kaori.
oh, they're just too similar.
You-
Okay,
take-
anyway, there's this couple, and they're on a little retreat at the beach or whatever
in Okinawa.
in that place. Yes, and there's this really terrible fish smell, and they encounter this weird little fish that has like mechanical legs, and they kill it. They think they're rid of it. The smell won't go away. They go back home, and then it turns out that more fish have these mechanical legs and are coming on land, and
Mhm.
I'm losing my train of thought here. Stop looking at my alcohol and judging me. Stop. You hush.
I'm not saying anything. It's just the only can you have and the only can you've had. So
It is. It is. I am not as far gone as I was last week. So they go visit the guy's uncle, and they find out they're like that we have this fish thing that like followed us home, basically, because the fish follows them home in a bag that's like floating through the air. Because that's how things work.
you have a stray fish. Don't feed the fish or they'll follow you home.
Well, she's
And
just
then-
being, she spends most of the book being chased by a trash bag.
The smell from the trash bag. Yeah. So, of course, the uncle that they take this to magically knows the entire story of what is happening with these fish because it's, yeah. Anyway, and they were like, remind me what happened that caused this to happen. He like made
It was an
these-
experiment that they were
Yes.
trying after World War II
Yes.
to like make a weapon or something. And then the mechanical legs they created became biological and found a way to reproduce. And then they have like these little Venus flytrap style teeth that
Yes.
attach to whatever it is that they're near, and it started attaching to all the fish, and then all the fish started to come onto the land, and you find out that the machines are powered by these tubes that go into your orifices, and the gas from your body is what powers the legs.
Because the gas is made by the bacteria that they made for the bioweapon in World War II. So they wanted to send cats and dogs to stink up enemy camps.
Yes, that was the goofiest
But-
shit I've ever read
But
in
the
my life.
bacteria made the dogs and cats nervous system completely fail. So they had to make the robo legs.
Yes, yes.
I
to
that
transport their little corpses.
while I was reading it, I thought it was good. Now that I'm talking about it, it's even
That's so
better.
stupid. Oh God.
But then the
It is
bacteria
so-
starts to kill the fish, so it starts latching on to other things, including people who get down in face down, ass up position,
Mhm.
and the tubes go in their butts and their mouth, and they gas it up.
Oh man.
I have
It's
this-
just-
This one image of the dog laying on its back on the surgical table, just blowing out gas out its ass and mouth.
I think one of the nastiest parts of these illustrations was the close-ups on the mouths when they had the tubes in the obviously the skin is disgusting because it's like covered in boils and shit, but just the way that those mouths would just like tear
Well, and
around the
her mouth-
tubing.
when they decide to take the tubes out, you see that he's actually stitched it in, and then they do the close up where she's got to cut the stitches out.
Yeah. Oh God. No. Mm-mm.
Pretty grim ending too.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to know what happens afterwards, but that ending was just like an Ito ending. It's like no hope for nobody.
I felt really bad for the poor little elephant in the circus, because of course the guy stumbles upon a circus that's just taking advantage of the whole situation, because why not? That makes sense.
And all the animals are in mechanical legs, the lions and the elephant.
Poor elephant. Oh, it broke my heart.
But the whale, his legs couldn't even support him. His little legs bent, and he couldn't even make it all the way onto land.
Bless his heart.
One of my favorite parts is when they pull the cannon out of the circus and start shooting dead people at the uncle's balloon.
Oh yeah, because he gets a flying
Yes.
leg set.
At first I thought he was attached to some sort of rocket and he was just going to go blow everything up. And I was like, oh no, he's just jealous of his nephew who's running around with his assistant. Got to go steal her back.
Yeah, and
we already ripped his girlfriend away from
legitimately
him.
didn't have anything going on with the assistant, and
I know!
everyone was pissed off about them.
And I'm like, I thought Kaori was already dead by the time she gets mad at them because she sees them together. They're just literally trying to run for their lives. Like, what the hell?
And she might not have been dead. Maybe the germs were jealous too.
Maybe. I know my farts would be jealous if they saw you with someone else.
Did you guys read the bonus stories?
Oh,
well?
I didn't. Did you?
Yes, I did.
You did?
They're only a handful of pages, and the what's it called? The incident at Enigma Fault or whatever, Enigami Fault or whatever. What is it?
The one with the holes?
Yeah, that one I've read
That was
a
pretty
bunch
good.
of times before. That's one of my favorite Ito stories. But
You should
there's
read that
one
one.
that's only 4 pages long called The Sad Tale of the Principal Post at the end. And that shit is funny as hell.
I don't remember that one.
So it's this principal, and they hear him saying, help, help. And they go under the house.
Oh, I remember that.
They're like, oh, what's going on? And he's pinned underneath a post that's holding up the house. And they're like, how in the hell did you get under this post? Like, this post has been here before you ever even came into the house. And he goes, if you get me out of here, I'll tell you. And then the next you turn the page and it's just a full frame that says, and they never got him out and he died under the post. And that's the story of the principal post. And you never find out. Like, that's it. And it just shows a skeleton pinned under the post.
like a memorial statue next to him.
Yeah.
Is Junji Ito married? Like, does he live alone with his
I think he has kids.
Does he really? Oh.
So his stories, him like in interviews and personality ways is completely different from his stories.
He has a bunch of comedy manga too. He has a manga about his 2 cats and
oh yeah, I remember that girl telling us about that when we bought the first. Remember when we went into Barnes and Noble years ago and they had that manga sale and we got like Shiver and whatever else I got you.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, have you read his cat stories? And we were like, what? No.
So the second story with the holes, I think you would really like that one because
that's really cool. It's really clever.
That
And
one
it's
was
short.
really good.
It's like 10 pages, 12 pages.
I like short.
So it's like at the end, it's kind of like streamlined, but better.
Oh, streamline.
But it's not
That
funny.
was the most ridiculous shit I've ever.
See, I was very disappointed with the manga when I started reading it, but as it kept going, I started liking it for different reasons than I thought that I would. So I was very happy with this read.
I was disgusted, but it was enjoyable by the end.
And Ito, it's full of there's a style that Ito has where he even admits that he gets worn out writing these things about halfway through. And so that's where you start to see like you know, when you start seeing like the ghosts in the gas or whatever and stuff, he starts introducing
Yes.
threads and none of them go anywhere. And he does that a lot in his books where like you could tell he just is like, okay, so then this happens, and he gets to a point where he's like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. And so none of that ever plays out. But it's fine because the art supersedes all of it, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes it even more entertaining, him not finishing out these threads.
You're like, oh, you can see them, the spirits in the gas. And you're like, whoa, what's up with that? And you never find out.
Like
Yep.
the circus dude is like, oh, you can see them, you're special. Nothing happens with
He's
that.
like, oh, I wonder if these are the ghosts of World War II soldiers. Nothing ever comes of that.
Nope.
The guy starts talking to him about the spirits. Never find out how that guy knows. Never find out what the spirits are. Never find out what happens to the circus. Like none of it ever pans out. But it's fine.
Pretty great.
It's part of the charm. I feel like having unresolved threads. I just like, because like Ito has like either three types of ending. Either everything is fucked, it resolves itself and nobody's going to believe you, or everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
And this one was like everything is fucked, and I kind of like really appreciated that.
Another thing that he likes to do that he did a couple of times in this book is, I need things to change, but I don't want to explain why. So the character passes out for 3 weeks.
That's
know.
true. That's true.
The
You've been
main
asleep for a
character,
month.
the main character in this book is asleep for half of the book. Easily. Half of the time that passes in this book, he is unconscious.
Bless him.
So he fell in that pit, and it was filled with what I believe were crawfish. Don't crawfish already have legs of their own? Like, wasn't it? Didn't they have like crabs and lobsters too? Like, why would they need to be in like these vehicles?
Well,
that
I
they can
mean,
already move?
So do people and elephants and lions, I guess.
Yeah.
It
we
just
all
needs
got
gas
legs.
to feed off of. Those things get gassy.
Like, can a crawfish fart?
Good
Like, and how small
question.
are these things going to get? Are they going to get gnats eventually? And
Like, is there that much ship metal under the sea to make that many? Do crawfish fart?
I can't. Are you really Googling
Yes,
this
I'm
right
really
now?
Googling if crawfish fart.
Oh.
Do crawfish make you gassy? What food makes fart? There's no answers for this.
It's not going to tell you whether or not crawfish themselves.
I mean, I guess
are
a
gassy.
fish makes sense to start the whole thing with, because they have gas bladders, you know, that like
True.
ballast that make them go
Yeah.
float or down. I don't think crustaceans do, though.
Experts say that the digestive gases of fish are consolidated within their feces and expelled in gelatinous tubes, which fish sometimes eat again. Point being, no farts.
But it's the crawfish, the crustaceans.
But if you put a
Do-
tube in their butts,
Oh my gosh.
Do
Do crustaceans fart?
Okay, so apparently they can fart when they rub their antennas together, but it's a noise they make. They don't actually fart. Do spiders fart? There's the possibility that spiders do fart. but,
We're
you
not
know.
talking about spiders, honey.
Okay, here's a Reddit post. After a short but admittedly rewarding Google search, apparently marine invertebrates are flatulence impaired. So no, they do not fart. Damn it. Fucking Ito.
well, this
didn't
whole
do his
book
research.
just fell apart then.
Exactly. Like the whole fucking reservoir part just didn't make any sense.
But he falls asleep
No.
in that pit for a long time.
A
He's
month.
buried in goo.
Like, how is he still alive? How? Makes
did-
no sense.
How did the fish not eat him? The crawfish and shit.
How
would think that-
does he not become one of these things this whole time? How?
You would think like the
Definitely.
third or fourth time he wakes up in a strange bed and he's like, where am I? He doesn't think it's weird anymore. Or he's like,
Right?
oh, the first thing he asks isn't where am I? It's all right. Well, how much time has passed?
Another thread we never went back to was his parents, right?
Yeah.
He was running to his parents, and the uncle was like, "They're really worried about you. Really need to call them." And that was it. I'm like, okay.
He never does.
They probably died, like poor Kaori or whatever the hell her name is.
Kaori.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who knows though?
Oh.
That maybe they're immune like him because
Maybe
he was
super
immune.
immune. He and Miss Yoshi, whatever the fuck her name was.
Yoshisawa.
Yeah, that.
There was that part when she's like, "Oh, you love Yoshisawa. You're gonna be with her and leave me and
Because she's
whatnot."
prettier than me.
Exactly. I was half expecting for her to say, if you still love me, then prove it by kissing me. I would have loved to see that. Him kissing that gross face and just having like
She just
boils and
vomits
shit.
gas into his mouth.
Yes.
Oh!
It's like that scene from Drag Me to Hell, on the railroad tracks. You seen that movie?
No.
It's like,
Never.
you ever seen the movie Thinner? Like, it's based on a Stephen King book, and the guy gets cursed and he keeps losing weight. So it's basically the same premise. This girl pisses off a Romani person, and they curse her, and so everyone in her life starts getting stalked by this like death thing, and so it's her trying to stop it. And there's a scene where like the body of the old lady like literally vomits in her mouth for a full 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
See, I was thinking more like that one scene in Chainsaw Man, because I'm reading the manga, where he goes out drinking with his coworkers, and like one of his coworkers says, "Oh, if you manage to kill this demon, I'll make out with you." So she starts making out with him, and what he thinks is her tongue ends up being a shit ton of vomit. Chainsaw Man is so good. It's so funny.
I have a friend that went on a date when we were in middle school, early high school. I think it was late middle school, like 7th or 8th grade. He went on a date with this girl. They went to a movie, and then he went to kiss her, and she had a pack of snuff in her lip.
Oh no.
And so he immediately threw up in her mouth.
How did he not notice?
It reminds me.
Well, he
of that
noticed as soon
one.
as he started kissing her.
Oh my gosh.
But he wasn't expecting it, so his immediate reaction was just to throw up.
I can't.
So was she swallowing instead of spitting?
No, she just had it in her mouth, and I don't know why you would kiss someone with that in your mouth without saying anything. But
oh Lord, what were you saying, Karradyne?
Oh, it reminds me of that fairly recent episode of Rick and Morty, The Night People, where Summer scrapes all the dirty dishes food into Rick's mouth while he's tied down. Yeah, I was basically puking in his mouth.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Okay, so do we have a rating? Who wants to go first?
I will. I gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's decent.
I was bored in the beginning, and then it got real gross and better.
Gross equals better. What about you, Champ?
I think I agree. 4 stars just for the art alone. Like the cool. There's so many cool like full page, just like straight fucked up full page splash pages of like a shark with legs chasing somebody, or a giant ball of people with hoses going into all their butts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that one, like the first person that we see like falling into the machine as it's like doing this weird dance and the gas is just pouring out. Oh, it's lovely.
I really like the one scene where Kaori hangs herself and she's spinning from the gas
because she's propelling herself.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, 4 stars is definitely a good score for this. I have yet to find an Ito book that goes 5, but wait.
No, we gave Uzumaki 5 stars.
We did?
Yeah.
Uzumaki was really good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I gave Tomi. Let me look.
It was my goal to finish Tomi before we recorded today, but I didn't have time. I slept most of yesterday.
It's a lot.
See, and the thing is, I've had it saved since.
I gave Tomi 5 stars.
You did give it 5 stars?
I did.
I'm gonna have to finish that.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you're on, I'll make sure that I have finished
Next
it.
year.
Just
Next
read
year, so-
one story a day,
There
or a
you
week,
go.
or whatever.
See, I don't have a problem with reading a lot because I just lay in bed and until I fall asleep, I'm reading
On his phone, if he can find it on his phone.
Yeah, so I have Tommy on my phone since we did that episode. I just
did?
haven't actually
Oh.
just pulled it up because if
What
I
the
do,
hell
I
are
can
you
go through it.
doing?
Like you saw me fucking read all of Gyo today when I laid on the couch. Oh, I can do it. I just need to actually make it.
A priority.
Yep. All right. So it's time now for Game Sense stuff. All right, for this week's game, we have Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. It is a 2003 action role-playing game developed and published by Konami. It is the third Castlevania game for the Game Boy Advance. Producer Koji Igarashi, who led the product teams for previous Castlevania games, led Aria of Sorrow's development as well. It says some other stuff that I really don't care for. I shouldn't have read that last sentence either. It was released in North America on May 6, 2003. I was 12 years old when this game came out. That's a long time ago, which is weird because I didn't play it till I was 15. I remember it being a formative part of my high school years.
Bless it.
One of my favorite games of all time. Why I have Soma on so many of my names.
Oh, that's where you can. Where it's not from the lingerie store.
No,
I'm shocked.
It is not from the lingerie store.
Man, that's what I was thinking this whole time.
Or the drug,
Damn.
or the Smashing Pumpkins song, or
So many
So
options here.
things. No, it is from Soma Cruz, an exchange student whose childhood friend's family runs a shrine in Japan. Somehow he is an exchange student and his childhood friend has a shrine in Japan. That is the
well, he
first.
definitely does not look Japanese.
But how can he have a childhood friend whose family runs a shrine in Japan?
Maybe they didn't
Maybe-
live in Japan to begin. I don't know.
Maybe the childhood friend was an exchange student
First.
before.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Stay
what
in
when
is
they
their
were
house.
children.
So what is a childhood friend? Is it somebody that you meet at a certain age, or
Oh, honey, you're reading way too much into this.
I just feel like there's a lot of inconsistencies with the game's story, which apparently
I mean, it
Champ
takes
has
place-
a lot of thoughts on.
It takes place in the future.
Yeah, 2035.
Maybe they were like friends on AIM or ICQ
Yahoo
or something.
Messenger.
Yeah, and
But Soma's like a teenager. He's not even out of high school yet.
Wait, what?
Soma's not out of high school. He's
He
like,
could have been
he's like
on
16 or
AIM
17.
at like 10 years old.
it's
They could have met him
2035.
they could have met on Grinder.
Oh,
On
you know.
Oh my
Grindr.
gosh. I can't.
I could see Genya on Grinder, especially after the anime, but
Oh wait, there's
Fortnite.
an age gap. You said there's an age gap, so there is a dating app for the people with age differential. It's called
Is there?
yeah, it's called. It's somebody should get fired for spelling the name wrong and then rolling with it. It's called Gaper. Gaper.
that is not what I would think if I heard that name.
No, it's not at all.
Wow. That's, first, the concept is terrible. Second, the
I'm glad
name.
we found each other before we found anything like
Before
that.
we went on Gaper.
Yeah. Looking for my 60-year-old man, my sugar daddy.
Ugh.
How did you guys meet? we met on Gaper.
Gaper.
See, my first question, if I heard that, would be okay. So, who is the taker and who is the giver?
I can't.
So, Champ, tell me, what do you think about the game? Apparently you have problems with the game. What are they?
Well, there are things like I played this when it first came out, and I do think this is like one of the top Castlevania games. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a really great game. But some of the stuff that I was starting to find, one, the dialogue goes on forever sometimes. Like, so much dialogue for a story that really is pretty inconsequential in the end. You keep meeting these characters, and they don't really mean much in the long run, you know. And it's fine. The story is fine. My biggest problem this time is you fight through these rooms of these sometimes really hard enemies. Sometimes you get to the end of the hallway, and then you get into a room and there's nothing there. Not an item, not a candle, just an empty room.
Yeah,
You're like,
no secret
why is this
room
here? You know,
that is true.
yeah, and that I didn't notice that the first time I was playing, but then this time I was 100%ing the map, you know, and I fight through here and I'm like, there's gonna be something good at the end of this hallway. Nope, there's nothing. There's nothing in that room, nothing at all. I do think that one thing that really could have been shored up in this game is kind of the way that you switch abilities, because switching between the walk on the top of water and sink to the bottom of water got to be incredibly tedious and irritating by the end, because you're constantly have to go into the menu, go to the other menu, scroll through that menu to get to the one or the other. I feel like they could have had it could have been
a passive soul.
One ability, yeah, that you just turn on or off by hitting that button, you know, to like, one makes you float, one makes you sink, you know, one makes you walk on the top, one makes you sink into the water.
Well, they could have done it easier. They could have just had you have the ability on, and you can drop down on the water or just swim up and jump out and just land on it. Like, just have it be a passive soul and just work it like if it was just a normal ledge.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I know that there's limitations with the number of buttons and things like that, but I also feel like there were buttons that weren't used, maybe, because there were, you know, you had right trigger was your one. I don't know. I changed my buttons because I didn't like what they had whip and jump set to. Yeah, whip, jump, use your one ability, use your other ability, and dash. So I feel like there was another trigger that wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the other trigger was map.
So the left button is your backdash, which is always there. You can't take that off. The R is your secondary skill, which is either hover or your dash up or your dash forward once you get that soul. And then you have up B, which is your bullet soul, which I probably went through half of the game with the first one, which is the spear.
Oh, I got I don't remember what soul it was, but it's like this like sea witch that comes up and hits from the bottom of the screen, and it just does insanely massive amounts of damage. Like, you hit death with it twice and he goes to his second form immediately. Like, it's extremely powerful. It does like 380 damage to basically everything. Wow. So I used that for most of the game.
Yeah, I did not get that one. I used mostly I used the spear until I got the flame demon. After that, I was just wrecking shit with the fireballs, because depending on I think it's depending on if you're jumping or sitting, he either shoots three or six.
Yeah.
And I was just like just shooting that nonstop, just fucking up everything. I do wish the dash soul would have done more damage, because that would have been great to get through a lot of the backtracking without having to stop.
The only other things that were, and it's just a kind of a product of the time the game was made, the encounter rates on some of the souls are just stupid. I mean, you can get your luck up to max and you'll still grind in a room for 25 minutes to get some of the souls. Like, they just don't drop that easy unless you save up 300,000 gold and get the the soul collector thing.
I did
And
that, and it's not
worth it.
It doesn't make a big difference.
No, it's not worth it.
I did find that the weapons are kind of like until you get that one shiny holy blade, the callus.
Oh yeah, the one that
something.
comes down in an arc.
Yes,
Kinda,
that
yeah.
one.
That was another thing. Like all the weapons, it feels like there are 4 or 5 weapon animations, and all of them fall into one of those. Like I feel like Symphony of the Night and a lot of the other games in the series, like some things were whips, some were daggers, some were, and they all had very different animations, you know. But then in this one, it seems like almost everything was a sword or a dagger, and it either shot straight forward or came down, you know, at an arc.
There was one, I think it's the Balmong. It's one that you throw it and it like goes forward and then it opens up on the sides. I had that one for a long time until I got the shiny holy blade that goes in the arc. I did go immediately after I finished it through the boss rush, and I got the Excalibur, and I forgot how stupid that weapon is. It's literally the Excalibur stuck on the stone, so you swing the sword with the entire stone, and it does a shit ton of damage.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's going to
Oh,
outdo the combination of the shield rod and the Alucard shield in Symphony of the Night. Have you ever used that?
No,
So
I think I got the Chrysogram, and I didn't try to get anything else.
If you get the Alucard shield and you get the shield rod and you equip one in one hand, one in the other, if you use both at the same time, it'll cause the shield to glow. And if you hold it up, every time you hit an enemy, it does 255 damage, heals you for 30, gives you 8 hearts, and refills your magic. And so you can literally go into rooms and just hold it up and just walk across the room and kill everything. Like Oryx, you know, the big, huge guy. You just walk in holding up the shield. You just walk up to his leg and it stun locks him and it just drains his life and he just dies in a couple seconds. You got to go in and try it. Once you get the Alucard shield, because the shield rod, not a lot of people know this, every shield you equip, when you hit the buttons at the same time, every shield has a different effect. One makes you invisible. One makes you heal constantly. One makes your doubles the speed of your familiars and stuff like that. All of them have effects. Some of them are detrimental, but the Alucard shield makes you basically a god. I mean, you just walk up to any enemy and you just hold the shield up and it blocks every projectile and heals you while it does 255 damage to them every second.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that. I've never done that combination. I've beaten that game a bunch of times.
Oh, it's real easy with that combination of weapons.
So going back to the soul thing, it was so fucking annoying. I was trying to get the zombie soul, which is the first enemy you encounter in the fucking game, and I didn't get it until I was ready to fight Chaos.
So
which is
the
at the
first
end of
time
the
I
game.
played through this, I got all the souls. Like I played it long enough that I got every soul. This time I was like, I'm going to do it again. And I got to maybe the second section. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to sit here and grind on this axe armor. I did 20 minutes of killing just 2 axe armors over and over again. I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing this.
So if you play it on the Switch version, you have the rewind feature. I used the rewind feature to farm the Chrono Mage or Chrono Rabbit or whatever the fuck it's called. And then I'd used it to farm the Silfish, which is the one enemy that you need to have the time stop ability to actually be able to attack.
Oh, for the rabbit.
Yeah, so after the rabbit, you go and try to get that fish. So I actually just spammed like that, and I actually did manage to get souls.
And the thing is I
quite
got
often,
that soul
but-
like on the second one I ever killed.
Really,
Like, it's so random. Yeah.
it's so like the spawn rate for the souls is terrible. Even with the ring really doesn't help much. Like it after you get a soul, if you have the soul ring equipped, you'll get more of that soul, which really doesn't fucking help because there's no soul sacrifice mechanic in this, like in Dawn of Sorrow. So before we close this out, I got two more things I want to touch on. The first one, Genya. What the fuck does he do in the castle?
He's the shop guy, right?
No, he's Alucard.
Oh yeah. Wines.
He does nothing. And like they try to keep his identity a secret. So one of the characters, Yoko, is like, "Oh, you're the kid that Genya told me about."
What?
Like the only thing that she doesn't say is the A at the end of Alucard. And
That's
immediately
uncomfortable.
Genya's like, what was the point of that? It's like, why hide yourself too? Like,
Well, it seems like everybody's doing that. Everybody's either lost their memory or they don't know who they are. And then once it's revealed, they're like, I knew the whole time. And you're like, ugh.
It's true.
It's like Thrones. Arya's talking. I was the
Also, why does Soma look like Ric Flair? Like
Does
with the
he?
big fur,
Oh, right. The big fur coat.
the long white hair.
He's kind of like pimpish looking with that
Yeah.
fur coat.
Yeah, seriously.
Look at him.
Oh,
It's like
oh,
Dracula
dear.
from RuPaul's Drag Race.
I can't.
That is great.
I can't. He was feeling fabulous.
Yeah. So, and then Soma's like complaining the entire time. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, he's the whole time he's like, I don't give a shit about Dracula. I'm just trying to get out of here.
Yep, the entire time. And turns out that he's actually Dracula's heir. So
I will say one thing though, that I feel like overall the bosses in this game are pretty easy comparatively in the Castlevania series. The final boss of this is perhaps the easiest, other than I said this and someone pointed out to me, Castlevania 2 definitely has the easiest final boss. Because if you have the gold dagger, you just walk in and just keep throwing it and nothing happens and they just die. But the chaos is, well, the true final boss, I guess. Chaos is very easy in this game.
yeah, I found it this time very easy to beat. I beat it, I think, like a year or two ago, and I found it very hard, but it's because I was also severely underleveled. This time I wasn't. I was
Yeah, there's sweet spots on the screen you can find in all the forms that basically like you can't be hit and you just sit there and whip, hit you with your sword and pretty much
especially
takes care of it.
That one particular sword, that shiny holy blade, if you crouch, the arc is so wide.
It hits above you. Yeah.
That's and the second form of Graham, that's all I did. I just crouched and just kept doing it. All I had to do was move a little bit whenever the crown tried to attack me, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was Julius. That's very stupid that he's like, I don't remember anything. And then Soma becomes Dracula. He's like, I remember everything. I have to kill you.
I knew it all the time. I was waiting for you to understand inside yourself.
See, they referenced 1999 a lot in this game, and I would really like to play a 1999 Castlevania game, the story of what happened to Julius, because Julius mode, it's not great. It's basically Dracula X or Rondo of Blood, but with Julius in a Metroidvania setting.
Yeah. And that precedent was set where I guess it started with Symphony of the Night, where they feel like they had to tack on like, oh, now you can play through the game as a Belmont, and it's been in basically every game since then, where you can play through the same map, but it's harder to navigate. The enemies are easier, but it's harder to navigate.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if they made a 1999 Castlevania and they made it somewhat like Portrait of Ruin, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
That way I know exactly what happened to Julius, who was there and who wasn't. And
you can make Julius look like Prince,
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yes, that would be great. Have Alucard go through a grunge phase too. Or maybe go straight new metal. Look like fucking Jacoby Shaddix.
Actually, 1999, they could all be part of a boy band. at that point.
They could. They could.
They could all just be different parts of a boy band.
They could have. That would have been
NSYNC,
great.
Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees,
Ramen
O-Town.
Ham.
O-Town, New Kids on the Block.
What's that boy band from the
What?
late
Wait,
90s?
New Kids on the Block is a little bit older, isn't it? Are,
Yeah, they're
are they like
80s.
80s?
They're
They are
80s.
80s. Okay, that's
But
why
they came back.
I wasn't so. They did, didn't they? Yeah. I was listening to, this is very random. I was listening to the radio one morning and they were doing like you got to guess the number one of the top 10 boy bands of all time and we'll give you concert tickets or something. And these mofos were calling in like BTS and New Kids on the Block. Nobody until like the 10th caller.
Was it the Beach Boys?
It was Backstreet Boys.
Of course
It
it was.
was. But I'm like, really? New Kids on the Block? Seriously? You think they're number one? No.
BTS.
I mean,
even.
they were everywhere when I was in middle school. New Kids on the Block. Everywhere.
Bless it.
Yeah, I'm too brown to know that.
Oh. New Kids on the Block wasn't too popular in Puerto Rico.
Maybe my dad heard them, but I don't know. My dad also likes Spandau Ballet, so
Wait, what?
Spandau Ballet.
I know that much is true.
You don't know Spandau Ballet?
No.
No.
They're like
No.
I guess you'd call them whatever, like New Order, and they're kind of like synth.
They are synthy, yeah.
Like
You should ask my aunt what she thinks about Spandau Ballet.
Okay. Remind me to ask her next time we
just
see
ask
her.
and she'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
they did that song. I know that much is true. I guess it's just called True. You would know the song if you heard it.
I'll have to listen to it once we finish. I got them pulled up. Oh, they look familiar. Especially this one.
I think one of them was in Modern Family, if I'm not mistaken. Or they make Phil for it in one episode. I don't really remember. Anyways, going back to Castlevania. So I finished the game with 99.2% of the castle and spent 5 hours and 39 minutes in the game. But I was ready to beat it at 3 hours and 20 minutes. So the rest was just fluff of me running around collecting shit. What more or less did you get, champ?
I did 100% the map.
Really?
Yeah. Because I like to do that, but I also did kind of use a guide to get the last like 3% or whatever, because I was like, I'm not gonna just blindly run around and look for a weak wall or something like that. So I didn't really use a guide as much as I just took a completed map and looked at my map, and I was like, where are there rooms that
They can't
aren't
see.
on my map?
Yeah. See, there was, I think I got 99.2 because there was one room underneath a staircase that I couldn't get to. Like I tried looking around and over and under and above and nothing. So I was like, fuck it. I'm ready to finish the game. So,
Side note, you're not crazy. Edward Norton plays the fictional bass player and backing singer for Spandau Ballet, Izzy LaFontaine. The real bassist and singer for Spandau Ballet was Martin Kemp. So yes, he's the one with the fake little like mullet thing that comes on when Claire like hires him for their anniversary or whatever.
right, he starts playing B-sides instead of
Yes.
like,
So he wasn't actually, it's Edward Norton, but pretending, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That's funny. And what score do you give the game, champ?
I think it's like an 8.5 out of 10. Like it's a really well playing Castlevania game. You do move a little slow in it, and the bosses are easy. And there are a lot of dead ends. You don't move as slow as you do in Circle of the Moon or anything.
Oh God.
You do move slowly in it, comparatively. But overall, it's really solid combat wise. The soul system, the souls that you're actually able to get, it's a good system for for what it is. They would expand upon that and make it better later, like where you can combine the souls and things like that to make different abilities. But no, I think it's definitely the best of the GBA games.
Definitely.
And probably up to that point, the best since Symphony of the Night.
I actually think this one is a little bit better than Symphony of the Night, but I still love Symphony of the Night. I would give this game a 9.5 just because of the spawn rate on the Soul system. Other than that, I think this game is fantastic, including how cheesy it is, the terrible story, the characters, everything. I just love the whole thing. I also have rose tinted glasses for it. So
I was hoping that the remake, they would add some bad voice acting.
Oh, that would have been great. The "What is a man" line in it. I've shown you the "What is a man" line, right?
I don't remember.
No,
Probably.
I'll show it to you eventually. You said that it does, the Soul system does get expanded on better.
In future games.
Yes, Order of Ecclesia actually has a good somewhat of a Soul system. I really like that one. That game is just very different from what all the other Castlevania games are, and it does really well. So yeah, that's it for games and stuff. You said you had something you wanted to plug with us?
Yeah, I was recently on an episode of Drunk Friend on the Polymedia Network with SNES Drunk, Alex, and NES friend Travis. We were talking about the year 1994. It was fun. And then I also have some posts that I put up on the Polymedia Network website with book recommendations, some articles with some book recommendations for spooky season, recommendations for series, some other book recommendation articles.
Yeah, posted all of those in the Plug Your Projects. Is it called Plug Your Projects?
Yeah.
Plug your stuff.
Plug your stuff. Channel on our Discord. So if you want ease of access for all of them, that'd be the perfect place to find them. And that's NES Drunk episode. That was a pretty fun episode. All the bands that you guys covered and the games and stuff, that was just
they're doing a whole series, like, because they got to episode 91 and they just started going 1991, 1992, 1993. So each episode has been, and they've had really good guests on for all those episodes of the 90s, and it's just them kind of reminiscing about what was going on in the 90s for them.
You should give it a listen, Karradyne, because it really gave me a sense of a nostalgia for a year where I barely remember anything.
Yeah, I was about to say I was 3 in 1994.
I remember SWAT Cats.
I remember being an only
The Radical
child,
Squadron?
and it was blissful because I had my only child status taken away from me
Dropping
the next
bears
year.
on your sister's
Actually, I was never an only child, but I didn't know that until about a year ago. So
gotta love South Georgia.
One fun time.
I was a middle child, but that 94 is the year I started driving a car.
Oh dear. Oh, that's weird to think about. Oh man, you're technically old enough to be our parent. Technically, a very young parent.
I suppose, like, if it was one of those situations where like a
young.
teacher took advantage of me.
Bless it.
How'd you say that? I remember there was a couple in high school that actually got pregnant in high school, and one of them
I remember a girl
15.
being pregnant in 8th grade, and my mama was like, "I will kill you."
There was a girl that graduated with me who was pregnant with her second child at graduation.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
that's stressful.
There was a girl that was like super Catholic that was in like my freshman gym class. She was super nice, like very well liked, very popular. I didn't go to the actual reunion. Our class for some reason only had a 7-year reunion.
That's random.
And I didn't go to it, but I went to the bar afterward to meet like the handful of people I would actually want to talk to from my high school. But that girl had gotten married the year that she graduated high school, and she had 7 children. She had one a year every
Holy
year
shit.
for the at least the first set. Who knows how many kids she has now? But like,
Granted, oh man.
but that can you imagine? Like, that's spending, what is that? 7 times 9, 63 months pregnant.
Yeah. Holy crap.
That's
Although,
cool.
like, I mean, I'm shook by this, but at the same time, I think we talked about this when I had my surgery, when my grandma and my aunt were here. Her best friend from childhood lives down here, and they were going to visit. And I just happened to remember that this best friend has a granddaughter who's in between me and my sister's age. So she's like probably 28 now. So that girl got pregnant when she was 16, and she has 7 children. Just like
I mean,
How?
my grandmother was the 15th of 17, but like,
oh,
that's like, you know, in a time where like you have children because you need help on a farm.
right.
You know,
that was
like,
normal.
Yeah, there wasn't really a such thing as birth control other than the old rhythm method, you know, and the having 17 children meant you had 34 hands to help on the farm.
Mhm,
She was also the
mhm.
first girl. She had 2 younger sisters
She
and
was
14
the
older
first
brothers.
girl. Oh my gosh. Honey,
She's a tough lady.
So I am going to swap over to sheep wool underwear so that I'm good.
honey, I think you've proven that you're good.
I hope.
I'm convinced you're infertile at this point.
I hope. Why should there be like 5 me's out there in the world?
Don't say that. Don't say that. That's honestly one of my fears, that you're gonna have a child show up.
On a doorstep one day.
Like it'll be like the ending of She-Hulk, all grown up. He's like
Please,
30.
no, don't even put that out in the world, please.
Oh boy, no, hell no, I'm good. Oh, I can't wait for this medical insurance to kick in.
What, you gonna go get snipped?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Burgerchamp's great grandparents scared me. 17. Wow.
Yeah, and it was like, I thought I didn't really realize what that meant until I was much older. And you'd go to like family reunions though, and you'd be like, we rented the whole park out because you have like 3,000 cousins, like because almost all of the 17 children had 10 or more kids.
Wow.
I mean, my mom was one of 3, but that was like considered very small amount, like, so you think each of those 10 kids has 2 or 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah.
And then one of their kids, my cousin, she had 1 kid, wanted to have 2 kids. They were having problems getting pregnant. She took a fertility drug.
Oh,
She
dear.
had quadruplets.
No.
So she has quadruplets,
No.
and they're like, these 4 kids destroyed your reproductive system.
Yeah.
You
I
don't
can
have to worry. You
imagine.
will never have kids again. Within a year, pregnant with twins. So she had 7 children. 7 children that were all within 3 years of each other in age.
Holy shit. Can you imagine?
I mean, a lot of government assistance in like college and buying cars and things like that.
Holy
It's like,
crap.
what do you do?
Oh.
Fucking shit, Jesus Christ.
Oh dear. What luck. What incredible luck.
What a blessing.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man.
I have 2 kids and they're 7 years apart, and I can't even imagine having a 3rd kid.
Oh, it's like me and my sister. Oh man.
I think I'd be hopping on a plane and taking a trip to another state, coming back.
We have stairs. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Karradyne takes a tumble. All right, so
That
that's
could
it
be
for
the
this
children's
week's-
book.
Hey, she gets them for free by the truckload.
I can't. Happy Halloween. Oh yeah, this is gonna be posted on Halloween.
Yes,
so
it is.
yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
All right, do we want to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Champ?
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.